The other day I saw Cross the Spider-Verse in cinemas, and I was like, God damn, that was an actual good movie. It doesn't often actually see movies that are that good. I often watch Adam Sandler comedies with my family. Those are rough. But then I got to thinking, hey, what about all those other Marvel movies? That whole MCU shtick? Because I'm gonna be real with you. I've only seen like a couple of them. That was like a few years ago, honestly, on like 123movie.web. So I eventually just decided, hey, you know what? I have Disney Plus. I'm feeling that superhero kick off of Across the Spider Verse. I'm gonna be a soy boy. Hang on. I need to make like a soy face for the thumbnail. I made my soy face. Also, this isn't a microphone. This is just a sky remote. I like having things in my hands when I talk. It makes me feel more animated. I mean, I already pretty am animated, but shh. So yeah, we're gonna be starting with the first MCU movie. That is Iron Man. So first of all, plot of this movie. So basically, you got Robert Downey Jr. He plays Tony Stark, right? And first of all, perfect casting. Perfect casting. I really can't. If you can't tell, I haven't shaved. I thought it'd be funny if instead of shaving, I went for like a somewhat. Because I haven't shaved lately. I thought if I had like the somewhat facial hair thing, it'd be like more soyish. I don't know. So yeah, basically, so you got Robert Downey Jr. who plays Tony Stark. He's Elon Musk. He's Elon Musk basically. He sells weapons and shit, and he's like a big gamer. He's a gamer. And there's this one scene early on, which is like, I think it's meant to be like a Bond parody, kind of, because the music there is very Bondish. But it's like, he's going to his car, and this woman comes up to him, and the woman's like, "You profit off war." No. What the fuck? And it just like smash cuts to them having sex with a Bond riff playing. It's really weird, and I kind of love it. This film isn't like, I'm gonna say it. This film. I dropped the thing from my. Fuck it, we can lose batteries. Who cares? It'll be funny if they fly out. Yeah, this film, unironically good, actually is. The main thing about this movie that I think actually makes it good is because like, it doesn't feel comic booky. You know, a lot of these other movies, I'm guessing. I've only seen like a small handful of these beforehand. I'm guessing a lot of these movies are going to be like very, like quippy, very he's right behind me, isn't he? Awkward, and like of course well that just happened. I don't even know if those movies do that, but it's like this is what comes to mind when I think of like MCU humor. The one example of that is like right at the end where like Iron Man is fighting Ironmonger. I think the real guy's name is like Obadiah Stane. It's like I'm the Ironmonger. But he's like fighting him, and he's on his back, and it's like, ooh, this looks important. Like yoinks to the something. He doesn't even know what he's like. He just pulls out a thing, and then he can't see anymore. And like that was the only moment where I was like, yeah, this is comic book stuff. But like the rest of it is like actual like thought out movie stuff, which really surprised me. Well, see, as you can see, I'm jumping all over the fucking place. I'm really So yeah, basically he's in like Middle Eastern country. I don't think they actually say what country he's in. He's just in Middle East. Just that part. That's like a violent part, though. The writers, but this movie didn't have writers pretty much. Basically, this film happened during the 2008 writers' strike, and basically scenes were constantly being rewritten. So apparently, most of the actors would instead just memorize how the scene went and just improvise that instead of actually learning lines. Because if you tried memorizing the specific lines, like literally in between takes, some poor fucking intern would run in, give you a new script, and you have to learn that. So they basically just started improvising all the scenes. But yeah, basically, I'm pretty sure who was in the writer's room, like some random intern who was like, "Hey, I have a laptop, let's do this." He just said, "What's a violent country? Middle East." And I kind of like how they like lead into that they were just like speaking different languages and shit. Because like, I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. Because they speak like Urdu, Arabic. I think one of them speaks Hungarian. Like they're basically just like making up random languages on the spot to constantly keep saying it. Because this isn't a country. It's just Middle East. That's a continent. It has like Iraq, Iran, Syria, the modern capitalistic hellhole of Dubai. Anyone who's been to my school immediately knows who that reminds them of. Jesus Christ, that woman. I'm not saying who that is because I want to dox a teacher, but she went on about Dubai quite a bit. Anyhow, so yeah, he's just in the Middle East, and like his car blows up, and he gets arrested and taken by the 10 Rings, which are just generic Middle Eastern terrorist group, pretty much. Like there isn't like a solid, oh, they're like, because I don't think they would really want to, like, yeah, this is the Taliban. I don't think they really want that in their, like, not even a kids movie. This is like it's like PG-13 or like, is it 12 or PG? We don't have PG-13. We have PG. We have 12. I think it's 12, so I guess it's not a kids movie, but like, it doesn't matter half the time. Parents just gonna be like, "Hey, it's a movie. Fucking take the kids." They don't care. They don't care. If you're taking your kids to like a really young kids like a movie, they probably don't care enough, do you? But so yeah, and then the terrorists are like, "Hey, build the missile that you blew up in like this scene," which is actually pretty cool, where he's like giving the presentation and like lifts his arms and the big shockwave comes. Probably would have caused irreversible hearing damage, but I'm not gonna like cinema sins. Oh, that's not realistic. Ding. That's not how that would go in real life. Ding. I really don't like cinema sins. In case you couldn't tell. They look gross. I'm gonna stay back. And he meets this guy called Yinsen, and Yinsen is like pretty cool. It's actually pretty amazing how they make you give a shit about this guy who you see for like all of like 10 minutes. It's actually pretty cool. They immediately do have a scene that's like, oh, I have a family back in Gilma, I think it's cool, and it's like very obvious, like, oh, death flags, this dude's dying. But outside of that, I think they actually did do a good job of making this dude like likable and not like an obvious death flag. He does die, by the way. He dies in like 10 minutes. Because the terrorists have like cameras in like to watch the room, and they're just like, hey, he's not building a missile, he's building a suit. So they come in there and like they first of all they put Yinsen down and they're about to like feed him like hot coals. That sounds brutal as shit. I kind of love it. It's like, oh, I've seen that like a Disney movie. Even though this isn't like a Disney movie, I think this was still owned by like Universal or whatever at this point. Paramount, that's what it is. Paramount, that's who owned it at this point. But just seeing that in like a Paramount, like a movie in like this series, like, oh wow, that's like an actual form of terrorist torture, most likely. Jesus Christ. But yeah, basically, so then they build the suit, and Yinsen puts like a car bomb or something on the door, and then they open it, they explode. And he grabs the assault rifle and just runs, and it's really funny how they kills. So imagine this is the gun, right? So when you shoot at the person, right? I'm sure. I didn't know there are actual bullets in here. Well, it's Nerf bullets, but you know. So you know, you do like that, right? Except he's like this. Why is I think he's trying to like cause a distraction or something, but I don't know, it just comes off really funny looking in the movie. You just see him screaming and literally hitting everywhere but the bad guys. Like, if you're gonna attack the terrorists or what, there's a fly. If you're gonna like attack the terrorists or whatever, at least get like a couple of them, right? Like he literally says like, "Oh, I want to die. Like, I'm okay with this." Take out a couple of them on your way out there. Don't just do that. Don't like, you're in a situation that is horrible. Take out at least one, dude. Come on. So yeah, Jensen dies, and he goes, and Tony Stark goes on a big killing spree of like the big iron suit. Then he crashes in the desert after he flies off. And Terrence Howard finds him in the desert. Yeah, it's not Don Cheadle. It's Terrence Howard. We don't have Don Cheadle anymore, which is a shame because Don Cheadle's funny. I've never seen anything he's been in except for like Infinity War and Civil War. But he's just a really funny guy. I don't know why. It's really that picture of him where I'll put it on screen. He's just pulling the most anguished expression, and it's so funny. And that's like one of the first things that comes up when you search for him. So it's like, oh, let's see, acts of the MCU. Robert Downey Jr. and you see this like cool suave guy. Tom Holland, and you see this like, you know, like a little nerd white guy. Then you look at like Don Cheadle. It's just this face of anguish, just like. Yeah, we have Terrence Howard, who I I don't even know. I think it's because he didn't get paid a lot for like Iron Man 2, so he didn't want to like come back. Something like that. But yeah, basically, you got Terrence Howard who finds him, and Robert Downey Jr. is that. I keep calling him just Robert Downey Jr. because that's just who blatantly. That's the problem with these kind of movies, because the guys in it are so huge. You don't see him as like the guy, like the character. You just see it as like, oh, that's just Chris Evans. Oh, that's just Gwyneth Paltrow. Speaking of which, Gwyneth Paltrow is in this, the Goop woman. I'm not going to comment on Goop. All I'm saying is that apparently she made exploding candles out of her vagina. I'm probably going to get taken. This probably going to get taken down just for saying this. I am 18, by the way. I am of age, so I'm allowed to say stuff like that. YouTube. So yeah, he comes at the airport and Gwyneth Paltrow is there, and they're like having this conversation, and so something about this movie, right? And this is something I really don't like. It does that annoying as fuck thing that movies do. But okay, just go something like this when you can just make this. Like, I hate movie whispering so fucking much. It is like my least favorite thing. Maybe it works in cinemas. It doesn't work when you're watching this on an Xbox One, a fucking TV. That doesn't work. And I literally had to have subtitles on. Because the scene where Jensen's dying, and he's like, oh, I want this. He's on it. That's all you can fucking hear. I really hope there's not a thing in these other movies, but I'm not on that hope. One thing I will say about this movie is that I love the villain, but not because he's a good villain. The Obadiah Stane fucking blows. Can we agree on that? Can we just agree? He sucks. He's an evil businessman, which is like the most overdone trope I think ever. Like, oh, what's the villain in this movie? Evil businessman. That's going to be like the most used trope. But, you know, I get it, you know, like, he's, like, the rival CEO or something, like, he and, like, Tony are, like, both the leaders of Stark Industries or whatever. But, yeah, Obadiah Stane, he sucks. He's so shit. He pretends to, he does that thing that twist villains do, where the exact second it comes out that he's a villain, he just becomes the world's biggest arsehole. Because he has no reason to suspect. There's a scene where, like, Gwyneth Paltrow, or Pepper Potts, as her name is. Yeah, can you tell this is a comic movie? Yeah, she's, like, hacking into the mainframe or whatever to get the plans for the Ironmonger suit. They don't even call it that in the movie. I think he meant to say, like, oh, we're Ironmongers, when he's referring to the fact they sell, like, weapons. And Ironmonger's just really funny. Like, say Ironmonger. It's such a dumb-sounding villain name. So, yeah, he's, like, in the street, and he's all of a sudden like, oh, what are you doing there? He's, like, acting really villainous when he, like... On the one hand, I kind of get it, you know, he's fully aware of what Tony's doing. But at the same time, it's also, like, come on, at least keep up false pretenses. You don't have to, like, act like a monologuing villain every time. And, like, when he gets in the Ironmonger suit, he just goes batshit insane, and it's really funny. He's, like, laughing, and he's like, I love this suit! It's so goofy. I kind of love it. So yeah, basically the movie is about like Tony makes the suit and he beats the 10-ring motherfuckers, and there's one scene I actually thought was funny. It's where he's like doing the thrust tests and he just immediately flies into the wall behind him. The timing there was good. It was like actually like, first of all, the speed is really funny. Like they don't build up to it. It's just like it's instant and it's just really well timed. It's actually like genuinely funny. It's not like. It didn't mean me like nose exhale like a lot of those like movies do. Like I actually kind of laughed at that because it's like a good joke. And I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of those. I think we're gonna be seeing a lot of from now on. But you never know. Maybe I'll live up to this T-shirt. Maybe I'll be a real soy. I wish I had like a soy milk, but I don't. I just have like my blackcurrant juice. Which, by the way, blackcurrant juice is like the best fucking thing ever. So yeah, and there's this one scene where it like cuts to like Gilmere, I think that's what it's called. That's where Jensen came from. And it's where the 10 Rings are currently terrorizing. And there's this scene, and it's like an actual war field, and I mainly just remember it because it was just like, holy shit, that's like very visceral. Yeah, then Iron Man comes and he just kind of blows things up and looks cool. And speaking of which, the Iron Man suit in this movie looks fucking amazing. This is 2008. This shit looks lifelike. The scene where he's like getting in like the suit right at the end of the movie, like properly, and it's doing like the close-ups of it bolting and shit. That looks real. That unironically looks. I don't do research on the back of movies. I like to let the movie sit as is. All the stuff I say is backstory is mainly just like shit I've learned. Just there's a fucking fly in here. It's kind of shit I've learned in general. So I'm guessing some parts of that were practical effects, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It looks actually really good. And I've seen some of the CGI in these later movies, like Black Panther and Black Widow. I don't think it stays that way. But yeah, the CGI actually is really good in this movie. Like, there is one scene that looks kind of shit, and that's at the end, where, it's a buzzing fly, by the way, so that's why I'm getting so distracted. But yeah, basically it's at the end where, like, Ironmonger opens the suit into Obadiah Stane, and he's like, I'm gonna kill you with the most powerful weapon, and it looks like dog shit, for lack of a better word. It's, like, so blatantly just, like, green screened, like, below the weight. Hey, I'm gonna... Like, it's so clearly he was just wearing, like, green pants or something like that, and it looks terrible. But, like, it's kind of funny looking. Also, they beat, the fucking, like, Ironmonger guy for blowing up the big arc reactor, and that somehow didn't kill Tony Stark. I don't know how. I think it's because he was, like, falling, so he just kind of got propelled up by it. I don't know how it works. This movie is called fucking Iron Man. I really don't think you're meant to question the pseudoscience bullshit of this. I'm pretty sure when you get to a certain point of, like, flying upwards, you can't sort of stop caring. Which, by the way, I actually like how they did a cool little thing with the villain. Where, because, like, earlier in the movie, he's in the Mark 1 suit, and when he flies up, he ices over. And Ironmonger was based off of the first version of the suit, so he didn't have the icing capacities fixed out. That was actually a cool little moment. When I was watching the movie, I was like, ah! You know, it's like actual thought in this movie, which, you know, I apologize, this review is all over the fucking place. But I don't care. I'm gonna keep doing this. It's fun just ranting about a movie I like. I'm not gonna have that very often, I don't think, because, next movie is The Incredible Hulk, and, first of all, I think the Hulk is lame as fuck. The only cool thing he has going for him is in, like, Marvel vs. Capcom. That's really it. He has a baller theme in Marvel vs. Capcom. He has one of the best themes in Marvel vs. Capcom, by the way. I don't know why. I'm mentioning Marvel vs. Capcom because I don't want to talk about the Hulk, but I'm gonna have to talk about it, next video, which... Yeah, let me know if you guys want this to become a series. I'm gonna do it anyways, but I want comments. It's good for the algorithm. So, yeah, overall, I think Iron Man, pretty good movie, pretty good acting, pretty good writing, improvisation. I did a Cockney accent. That's not even kind of name though that was, but there's good writing. The CGI looks amazing. I actually think this is a movie I might go back to and watch time to time, completely outside of the MCU. That is like an actually enjoyable open and shut movie, and that deserves a lot of props. You don't get that as much nowadays. You don't get that in the MCU at all, pretty much ever since Avengers. Now every movie just has to be an advertisement for more movies. That was just an open and shut movie because the MCU, like, I know it was a thing because there's the post-credit scene with Nick Fury, but they were also like, this might not work out, so we have to make this an open and shut movie, which is actually pretty good because you don't get that. You know, it's very easy for a lot of, like, movies just, like, not do that in the MCU nowadays. So, having an option movie, pretty good. Overall, I'd say it's a strong 3.5 out of 5. So that's about 7 out of 10. That's about 7 out of 10. Yeah, that feels about right. Also, I want you guys to know, by the way, I'm not doing, like, the American school system thing where it's like, yeah, 7 out of 10 is like a pass. No, for me, like a 5 out of 10 is a pass. 5 out of 10 is... This is an okay movie. 6 out of 10 is this is good, and 7 out of 10 is, oh, I actually might, like, watch this again sometime. Like, I'm only going to say a movie's bad if it gets below a 5 out of 10. Like, a 5 out of 10 is still, like, this is watchable. This is just very average. So, yeah, 7 out of 10 I think is actually a very fair place for the first Iron Man. Catch me next time. I'm going to watch Hulk and that fly is probably having more fun than I will watching the Hulk because he's flying around my fucking bin. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the Hulk next time. Not looking forward to it.